Happy Monday, and welcome back to the Resistance Broadcast. My name is John Hoey. Thank you so much for joining us today. Being a part of the Resistance, we hope to make your Monday as smooth, easy, and fun as possible. We typically get into news today, as it's our Monday show, but since there's not too much news out there, besides fake news, we have fun stuff to talk about, including our favorite space opera weapon, lightsabers. But before we get into everything here, let's say hi to James Baney and Lacey Gillerin. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, I was pretty bummed because I must have been on some weird websites. I saw episode 10 was announced. Rian Johnson's movie or trilogy has been bumped to 9 movies. Benioff and Weiss have actually finished all 8 of their movies, and they're going to start airing them next week.
Fake.
That's the screening. So, yeah. I was pretty excited, but I guess turns out that that's all fake, and we have no news this week. But we have a pretty good discussion. I'm excited to talk about that. Lacey, how you doing?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm good. I don't know what to do with my hands, so to speak. Like, I don't know what to do. That there's no news. There's nothing going on. It's just a lot of crickets, and people are getting bored and they're making stuff up.
I want your news show to be that, like, your hands are to your side and then you're like, this week in Star Wars news, and they just start slowly going up.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah. The funniest part is Lacey came back from San Diego Comic-Con. She's like, I met all these people, and they were like, you're the girl who does the Star Wars Newsnet news show, right? And since she's come back, she's done 0 episodes. So they're probably like,
I'm sorry,
wow,
guys.
Did I offend her? Did I piss her off? Yeah.
No, it's that I was traveling for work, like I said, like he said, San Diego, and then I got sick, and then there was no news, and I'm not going to make stuff up, and I've always stood by that I'm not going to make stuff up, so until there's news, I won't do anything news-related, but I'll do other things.
Just so you guys know, because I am all about full disclosure with our listeners, before we actually pressed record and we were on the call, Lacey said, just because people like that show, I'm not doing any more of them. End quote.
Let's not spread rumors. I already have enough people hating on me. So let's not spread rumors.
We get notifications on James's phone that says, Lacey Gillerin not doing any more Star Wars.
Yeah. And it's live. Yep. There it just went. It's on Star Wars Newsnet.
So, Lacey, what you're saying is if there's more news, there'll be more Lacey on Star Wars Newsnet.
Right. Because there's nothing to report right now. And I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that's just making shit up.
And you're like, yo,
but those
what
clicks
up?
Though.
Okay, bye.
So sorry, guys. I'll do other stuff though. I'm gonna do reviews of some toys, maybe give you some opinions. Yeah.
Maybe we'll go to Target and play with toys.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't get kicked out.
Yeah. Geez, what is the concept? Getting punted from Target for playing with Star Wars toys.
I can get
out of my way,
kid.
Kid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what we do have is poll results, though. And we asked you guys, after the Skywalker saga ends with Episode 9, should any future Star Wars movies continue using the traditional main title and crawl sequence? And 2,000 or so of you voted, and the results are in, with just under 70% of you saying, yes, keep that crawl going beyond the Skywalkers. Only 24% said no, and 7% weren't sure. You said maybe. So maybe it depends on whether they're trilogy, series, something like that. Guys, over 2/3 of the people want the crawl back after the Skywalkers. Surprised? What do you think? Do you agree? What's up?
I'm not super surprised, considering it is a staple, and we didn't get it in Rogue One, and everybody was really surprised at that. It was kind of a bold move on Lucasfilm to get rid of that crawl. So I'm not surprised that people are like, bring it back, make sure it's there, make sure it stays in Star Wars. It is kind of interesting though, so like Episode 8 picks up right after Episode 7. Like, we know exactly what's going on, but sometimes when it's Rogue One, and maybe not everybody who goes to see the latest Star Wars film, it picks up on the fact that it's supposed to be before Episode 4. Some of that stuff could really be helpful to fill us in on that. Now, luckily, Solo they got the hint,
Mm-hmm.
They got the hint that people want some sort of narrative at the beginning, some establishment of what's going on, where are we at, what's the point of this film, I guess. right at the beginning. So I think that I don't know if it should or will show up in the other bigger movies, Rian Johnson's trilogy, Benioff and Weiss series, and all that. But I do think that at some point there will be there should be something probably at the beginning, because I don't know, that makes it feel like Star Wars at least. I don't know. Am I way off, Lacey? What do you think? Did you say were you one of the 7% maybes?
So I think I'm actually going to be a part of that 24% no. Okay. I just think that they are very specific to the Skywalker saga with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and Ben Solo, so it doesn't really make sense to have them in the other movies. And Lucasfilm has set the precedent that like they aren't a part of other movies. So if you're already saying that they're not going to be a part of other movies, then you can't just all of a sudden be like, yes, let's add this, unless they have something to do with the Skywalker saga. So I'm actually in that 24% no, even though I love it and it's one of my favorite parts of the movie. I just don't know if it's a good fit.
It kind of bums me out, because that means unless they bring back the saga films down the line because they want more money, then we're never going to see it again. We're never going to get that guy like screaming when the blang comes on and the letters come across. Like, that kind of bums me out. But so I'm kind of agreeing with this guy here, and I believe he changed his Twitter name, but he's now going by Jedha Antifa at Ronan Sohai. And he says, yes, every Star Wars film should stick with that being the crawls. It's something that is unique to Star Wars, and the feeling of excitement you get when you sit down to watch the film, and that starts is something I'd hate to lose. So he's all about the crawls coming back, and I kind of got to agree with him there. But that is it for the polls. We'll see what happens when those movies eventually get going. Who knows when? We'll find out down the road. Right now, we usually hop into the news with the Resistance Report. But as I said in the opener, we don't have much news, real news anyway. So James, what the heck are we doing this week?
I guess my thoughts, since there wasn't any news, is that we could just double dip on the discussion this week. Little alliteration there.
Obi-Wan once thought as you do.
And so I figured that we could maybe talk a little bit about this thing that we saw from a friend of the podcast, John Burns. He's an artist, and he was saying some stuff about, Kyber crystals and how the Anakin's lightsaber split, and that could mean one thing or another. And it just led to a discussion between me and John with him. And then we thought it was so interesting, we'd throw it to you guys. And it turned into such a heavy topic of discussion that we just thought, hey, let's do this, on the show. And let's try to break it down, figure out what we think. Mostly, the idea here is, is it important that the lightsaber was broken in the first place? Is the Kyber still in there? Is Rey going to use that crystal? Is it possible that she'll either scrap it all or take bits and pieces and try to construct her new lightsaber? Are we going to see her using blue? Are we going to see her using another color? Are we going to see her using a staff with a lightsaber on the end? I think that when it comes to the comments in general, that seemed to be like the heaviest for me. Do you agree, John?
Yeah, I do. And actually, I guess we might as well move the Resistance transmissions over to today's episode.
Yeah.
And we'll save the questions for Thursday. We'll flip-flop them. But I do think most of what I remember seeing, without revealing those, because we'll reveal them later, the answers, is people are down with that staff, and maybe that's leading them to the double-bladed saber type of situation. And I kind of felt that for a long time, too, with The Force Awakens. So I kind of thought that maybe she'll turn that bad boy into I don't know why I said bad boy. Well, she'll turn that thing into a double-bladed saber, which means she'll either use that crystal and get another one, or she'll infuse that. Who knows? Lacey, where are you at with this thing?
I think they've set it up from the first moment you see Rey that, she's all about her staff. That's what she uses to fight people. It's always with her. That's her thing. And then she gets this lightsaber that she calls to her, and it's kind of a shock. And she's not the best at fighting at it, but she tops Kylo Ren. And then in the next film, she's once again back with her staff training. And then you see her then use the lightsaber again as like, oh, maybe I am pretty good at this. But I feel like once they split it in half, they weren't just showing that Rey and Kylo were equals, but they're setting it up for her to have the saber staff in episode 9. I think it would be a total missed opportunity to not make her staff 2 lightsabers. I mean, that's so cool, and I just want that. And I said that months ago, which feels like, forever ago. With my episode 9 pitch that she would light it up in episode 9. So hopefully we see it because I think it would be really, really badass.
And that would sell a lot of toys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there is already a saber staff in stores for girls. It's like a purple
The Forces
one.
of Destiny, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So maybe they're giving us the answer before the movie even comes out, The Forces of
Right.
Destiny.
Yeah.
Do you guys, you don't think that would be too long? Like, look at a double-bladed lightsaber just as it is. It feels like he's using a long staff. Now, if you extend that and put 2 lightsabers on the end of an already long staff, no, yes, no? Or
I think you would shorten the staff.
Yeah.
And
so
then put
it
the
would be
lightsaber in
like
it.
a really long double-bladed lightsaber, basically.
No, you could shorten it.
Shorten the staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, to
Like-
the length of what, like Maul's
like Maul's
double-bladed
size,
thing
like
is?
Maul's
Like
saber,
Bastilla
yeah.
Shan in Old Republic. Like
Mm-hmm.
hers is shorter than Rey's, and it has 2 yellow lightsabers. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure that's where everybody's getting this. Like Rey should have yellow lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what color she should have. I kind of like
Yeah,
the
that's a
idea
good
that she has
point.
blue.
Is
But
they're pulling from where they've already
If Daisy
seen it.
Ridley had anything to do with it, she said it would be pink and sparkly.
Yeah, I saw
But
that.
I don't think J.J. Abrams will let that fly. We'll see. Imagine her just like kicking Kylo's ass with like this pink sparkly
yeah,
lightsaber.
no thanks.
So does it have to be double-bladed, or could it just be a staff with the lightsaber on the end? Like a trident, sort of, without
Oh, I hate that.
the tri part.
But that's just my
Give me the
opinion.
double-bladed saber.
Double-bladed, all right. I'm just trying to
Just
think of
spin it
something that's like
around.
a
You want
little
2
different,
ends.
What if her lightsaber can come apart and go back together?
Who has that? Someone has that.
I think Maul has
Ray
that,
in episode
doesn't he?
9.
But I guess
Who?
it doesn't Maul have that?
Does
No,
not.
his broke, and then he just fought with one.
No,
of them.
but he uses a 1. He uses 1 when he fights Qui-Gon on Tatooine.
He just lit up the first half.
Oh, you think? I guess you're maybe right.
Someone in canon has 2. Someone in the listeners tell us who it is. Someone has one.
Yeah, I
might be
agree
a
with
video
Lacey.
game.
I feel like it's like sitting on the edge of my brain, and it's not.
So they have
quite.
2, and then it connects. and then
Connects
it
to make
comes apart?
one.
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
So I didn't just come up with that.
No. Unless
Here,
it's
all
a
right.
video game thing that someone made up on their own.
Then who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thing with the staff is the only reason why I think they have to use it is because they've kept it around for so long and they feature it way too much than they used to feature other people's side accessories, you know?
It's such a part of her costume, yeah.
But it's like having, I feel like deja vu, like we've talked about this before, but it's like having a 1990 Toyota Camry and then you get like a Lamborghini or Ferrari and you still hang on to that Camry for some reason. And the Camry is the staff and the Lamborghini's that awesome lightsaber.
But the Camry's reliable, though.
But
You have
the
lots of
Lamborghini-
memories with the Camry.
Yeah, that's
But
what
the
I was going to
Lambo
say.
with the doors that go on the up.
You
I
got
get
famous while driving that Camry.
This is like somebody
Okay,
giving
okay.
Donatello a sword. And so he's like, all right, I mean, I guess that's pretty useful, but it's
Except
not like
the
I'm going to...
sword that's a laser.
I know, but it's like, I mean, it's helpful. I'm probably going to stick onto this, especially since I can feel that it has a lot of importance. But,
She also made it herself, though. That's the other thing.
oh, the staff.
And also, Rey
Yeah.
is way cooler than Donatello.
I'm just saying they use a bow. Some sort of staff weapon. And they're pretty dang good at it. So do you guys want to get in at all about, like, does it even make sense, like, with the Kyber? Like, when that lightsaber exploded, did the Kyber itself, the crystal, break in two? Or are
It
there...
did. She shows it. With
Yeah,
her
but
hands.
were there two crystals in there to begin with? Which I actually, you look at the image and in the movie of it up close, and it does kind of look like there's two crystals in there. So it either implies that there were two to begin with, which isn't unprecedented because there's like a Kyber crystal and a focusing crystal. We've seen that before. That's possible. And maybe this is the first time in canon. Obviously, we're seeing the inside of it. So maybe that's what we're looking at. It also does kind of look like maybe it's just the lighting and it's another shard of metal that just happens to be like dimmed a little bit. So they're mainly showing you the crystal, but that other thing in the back just is like another piece of the metal.
Nah.
Is there any chance that the thing split? The Kyber crystal itself was broken, and now it's
I think
two
that's
halves
what it is.
of one whole. If that's the case, can Rey even use it? Like right now, we know Kylo is using a crystal, a single crystal that's cracked. Is cracked the same as cut like in half or broken in half? It's not cracked. It was an even break. I don't know. There's a lot of questions when it comes down to this. But at the end of the day, I think the ultimate result is the only thing we really want to know is she going to use that crystal to make a new one? Our opinions on that.
Right.
Or is she going to rebuild the lightsaber? And then the other option completely is that she just says...
You're asking like 20 questions right now.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I understand. I guess my thing is that I consider those two the same thing. Is she going to use the crystal and or rebuild the lightsaber? And the other option is she's going to say, ditch it. Luke Skywalker and that lightsaber and Anakin's crystal and all that, done. Whole new thing, whole new color. She goes on her own journey, gets a new lightsaber altogether.
First of all, let me start. I think it's pretty evident by the explosion and the pull each were pulling on that saber, and the reason why it blew is because of the crystal itself. I think it's clear to me anyway that crystal split in half or split into two parts, and Rey like grabbed all the pieces and left. Because one half went to Kylo and one half went to her, and she's sitting there with both halves of the saber, so she clearly gathered all the parts of this thing. So that leads me to believe that that's clearly two parts of that crystal there, and she has both of them. Now, whether she can use both and make two blades out of it or fuse them together like they were doing on Edu and for Rogue One with the Death Star stuff, it's possible she can figure that out. There's so many different options there. I would like to see something happen here. We'll get into later one of my favorite answers from Resistance Transmissions, but I'm hoping something is done with those crystals.
John, I got to admit, I was really proud of you when I saw this discussion happening, because out of nowhere, John starts going, well, they did mention in chapter 3, page 42 of Catalyst, like all this deep dive stuff about what they were doing in the Tarkin Initiative on Twitter. And I was like, dang, man, John's going deep on this one. He's trying to figure it all out about fusing the crystals together. That's what they were working on at Edu. It's great. I was just really happy that you went that deep.
Thank you. Lacey, did the crystal split? Did you see what I saw?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Time and time again, they said that it's like, I think even on like the StarWars.com website, it says that the lightsaber split in half due to their equal power, light and dark. I mean, they set it up that there's two halves. She took one half when she went over. She woke up first, went over, grabbed it. In the book, she considers killing him, decides not to, says the Force will have its way with him, takes the other half, leaves. And then when she's talking to Leia, you see both halves. Mm-hmm. Like, they show them to you clearly with the crystal in each side.
That wasn't a Jolly Rancher candy, on the other hand.
It was not.
Right.
It was not.
Rock candy.
Right.
It wasn't a push pop. It was not. But yeah, I think they're setting it up for her to have a saber staff. Saber staff.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
One of the comments that I saw in, I don't know if it's in the Resistance Transmissions or not. I'll have to take a look at them, but it was really good in my opinion, because it really just narrows down the whole thing. There's really two options here. They definitely show us a split lightsaber, and they make it a very big point of the movie to say they were both pulling on it. It broke in half. Here they are. We're zooming in on them. And that could mean one of two things. It just depends on the type of person, which way you want to go with it. Does that mean that they're making it a point because they're totally setting up her using that as in the future, and it's very important to recognize that it's split now? Or is Rian Johnson saying, look, here it is, it's done, this thing's broken, it's never coming back, it's in two pieces, the crystal itself has broken in half. It can never be used again. And they're trying to make that very clear because at the end of Empire Strikes Back, Luke loses that saber. And then when he comes back in Return of the Jedi, boom, he's got a new one. So, if we're going to kind of mirror the original trilogy, this is kind of like saying that lightsaber's done. It's gone. Forget about it. Now we're teeing up a new lightsaber, a new crystal, a new color, a new everything.
It's a good move. It's a good move because, Anakin has broke at least two of his lightsabers, and like no one cared about the crystals from those things. He made a new lightsaber, right? Mm-hmm. So, like the one on Geonosis just got absolutely destroyed, and he was holding like the stump in his hand, like the best part of the muffin fell off. So, like I think we're putting too much stock into these stupid crystals. Like that's the one crystal, like Lord of the Rings, and I think I don't like doing that too much. The only reason why I think they're going to use this thing still, whether it's an heirloom or they use it in a lightsaber, is because J.J. Abrams made that thing so damn important in The Force Awakens, where Rey had a Force vision by touching it, and he took that lightsaber to a new level in a weird lore mystical sort of way, which I didn't hate or anything. I liked it, but it wasn't just, this is your father's lightsaber, and I've had it in this thing for all these years.
Yeah, but it's alive.
You to have it.
You know what I mean? No, it's not even that. It's, you're talking about Obi-Wan. I'm thinking Maz. Now it calls to you.
Nothing called to Luke.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing called to Luke. He touched that thing and he almost put his eye out. And he's like, oh, you better put that down, boy. You got farming to do. Like, he didn't have a vision. So J.J. Abrams took this thing to a new level. You know what I mean?
That is kind of funny to think, what A New Hope would have been if, he grabs it and then it, immediately takes him to Geonosis and, all this other stuff. Yeah. He's like, oh my God. He's on Mustafar.
What if Rey, like Lacey, or James and Lacey, what if Rey took that lightsaber to Luke and she's like, this thing gave me a vision of you and your dad and all this stuff, and it was so trippy, and I saw the past, I saw the future, and Luke's like, that was my dad's, and when I touched it, nothing happened. Why did nothing happen when I touched that lightsaber? It doesn't make sense to me.
No, what would be really funny is if he picks up the lightsaber and then Ben goes, these are your first steps, and he's like, what did you say? And he's like, nothing.
He's right next to him.
He thought he was having a vision, but he wasn't. So he's just like, these are your first steps. And then,
that's so Family Guy.
Yeah, because we know what we know about Rebels and stuff like that. Just it was the same moment that he said it to Luke when it says it to Rey, but Rey heard it through the Force at a different time.
Yeah.
But it was just really awkward when he really did it.
Am I crazy to think that they've taken Kyber crystals too far in a sense?
No. Lacey, anything?
I don't think so. I mean, what do you mean by that? What do you mean too far?
Well, just like what I was just saying about how they were just a weapon and it was just something, and now it's calling to people, and now it's,
Oh yeah, you're giving it kind of like a personality.
Yeah, they've Lord of the Rings'd it.
That's actually a really good way to put it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was necessarily the crystal calling to her or the Force was calling to her. I thought it was more of the Force was calling to her, which led her to this object. Is that different?
Yeah, unless Maz was just convoluting her words, because she's like, now the lightsaber calls to you.
I got the impression that it was the lightsaber had its kind of its own presence and its own kind of existence, and it says my next owner is supposed to be Rey. It's already been chosen.
And maybe Rian Johnson was like enough with this. We took this a little too far. Let's axe this thing and maybe give Rey her own identity here.
I feel bad for the lightsaber. It's I want to go with that girl, and then an hour later, she gets it split in half, and it's done.
Worst death in Star Wars was that lightsaber.
It is funny about Star Wars fandom though in general, because we can see something cut in half and totally annihilated. I mean, that thing's totaled. It probably will never come back. And yet we're still but how could it come back? How could we incorporate all of this important stuff and make it part of the next generation or whatever? And sometimes it's just about being I don't know. I don't really have a connection to that thing,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we've learned that anything that gets cut in half or a limb gets cut off or something in Star Wars, it can come back. Especially something that's not an organism.
I wouldn't be surprised if someone has some crazy fan theory about like what it means when like he got his right hand cut off and how that means something about his character, but he got his left arm cut off, which means this and all this other crazy stuff, which isn't always wrong, but it's not always exactly what they intended.
I wonder which limb of Kylo's is getting cut off in episode 9.
Does that mean have we not had a limb cut off in this franchise yet?
No, we haven't.
I hope not. I hate how they cut people's hands off and stuff. I think it's the worst part of Star Wars.
Really?
Yeah. I thought when Luke got his hand cut off, that was stupid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Why does he need his hand cut off?
I get it from a perspective if you're like, oh, there goes Anakin's. Oh, there goes Dooku's. Got to double up on the last one, you know, and like.
See,
I just figured
I get that.
He cut it. Lacey, I just figured he cut Luke's hand off because it was his son and he didn't want to cut his head off.
Right, but my whole thing is like, why does it have to be a matching set? Why can't he just leave his son's hand alone? Like, watching that back, I get it, and I get the moment, and I understand how important it is to the story, whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm like, that's kind of dumb. If you want someone to join with you, the last thing you're going to do is cut their hand off.
What do you get about it? Like, do you get that?
It's a very cinematic scene. It's like, oh, his hand, oh my god, no, and it's like big and dramatic, and that's how he loses the lightsaber. It falls with the hand. I get it, but at the same time, if you guys were to ask me to join the podcast, you wouldn't cut my hand off.
Yeah, but we would if we were evil and we didn't understand the importance of what it means to be human. Like, and that's the thing is he is mostly machine. He has his limbs. It hasn't weakened him. He understands the Force so much that he's trying to prove a point to this person by also just, you know, saying you find this important, but it's not. You know what I mean? And he's cutting him off. He doesn't even think of it as something important. It's the same as disarming him from the lightsaber. He's just disarming him from the lightsaber. Boom, cut that off. Yeah. Now he doesn't have a lightsaber anymore. But his son is still there. He still lives. I always took that as a kind of like a loss of humanity type thing. He doesn't understand the importance of the hand because he doesn't have one himself.
What's the easiest way to make Luke completely vulnerable in that moment? And that's to get rid of his weapon. And how do you do that besides like, give me your hand? And he pries it out of his hand like when you don't want your kid to play with his toy right now. He's like, nah, just cut it off. I know what it's like. He'll be able to get a new hand. He'll be fine. Yeah. He'll join me. He's hanging there with one arm. He's so vulnerable now that he has to join me. And then Luke's just like jumps.
I'm sorry, weren't we talking about Kyber crystals?
yeah. Well, we were also talking about the importance of the lightsaber. And...
All right, so when Luke's lightsaber falls down that shaft after Vader cuts his hand out, the lightsaber's like, no! I don't know, man.
Worst death in Star Wars.
My take again, I'm sure we're up against it here. I think the crystal will be involved. I don't hate it if they don't, but I'm all about turning that staff into a double lightsaber by, like Lacey said, shortening it a little bit because it's a little too long, and then her beating some ass with a double-edged lightsaber.
I think it makes sense that, JJ would tee it up with the staff, and then Rian Johnson would tee it up by saying, look, it's in two pieces now. I wonder what that could mean. I wonder what the next director could do with two Kyber crystals and basically two lightsabers. Come on, pick up on what I'm trying to put down here. Next director, whoever that is, which I'm sure at the time he was thinking Colin Trevorrow, or he knew that he was already out and they were looking. But I don't know. I doubt that at the time. But that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, Lacey, any closing comments on the Kyber and the Rey and the saber and the Camry?
Not really. I think we talked about it ad nauseum that I think it's going to be a saber staff. I think that's the only obvious route for this crystal and weapon.
If not blue, what color?
Blue.
Green.
If it's blue, we're assuming it's the same. We would assume it's the same Kyber crystal. But if it's not, it's got to be green, right? We're thinking green.
One side's going to be blue, one side's going to be green.
Ooh, he's going crazy with it. I think it's got to be green because she's so powerful in the Force, and that's what the green saber means, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I heard it was just because George Lucas didn't want a blue lightsaber on the blue sky background of Tatooine on Return of the Jedi. But if you want to get into the whole story part of it, then yeah, I guess the green lightsaber means you're more powerful.
There's no way that's true, John. No way that's
Yeah.
true.
You'll get a notification tonight from YouTube saying that it is 100% true.
All right, darn. All right, well, I think we were just saying that's just about everything we can talk about in that conversation, but there are a few things that we wanted to. We kept driving home that there was no news, but there was just enough stuff to do a Scoundrels rundown, so I'm going to send it over to John for that.
All right, James. Yeah, what would be a Monday Resistance broadcast episode without a little bit of news? So let's punch this thing. All right, episode 9 cinematographer Dan Mindel trolls fans with a set photo from John Carter. Yep, he fooled everybody. He took to Instagram and took a shot from Pinewood Studios or somewhere, and everyone knows he's the cinematographer for episode 9, and he was talking about lights and sets and all this stuff, and everyone kind of ran away with it thinking, this must be from episode 9. Nope, it was from that movie John Carter that nobody saw.
Failed so bad.
Yeah, with that guy from like Friday Night Lights who did the awful version of Gambit in the Wolverine origin story. I forget his name, poor guy. But yeah, he trolled us. So next time you see a set photo from Dan Mindel, it's probably from like, I don't know, a 1993 movie that no one saw.
Just take into consideration, do we actually know for sure that it's a Star Wars photo?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's all.
It just shows that we're all excited, I guess, right? And speaking of excitement, Dave Filoni, the man, the talk of the hour, because he's got so much going on in the animation department, he had talked about final tweaks that we had to make to the end of Rebels Season 4, including adjustments to the Rook and Zeb encounter. Palpatine and Ezra's encounter was different initially, and he changed that quite a bit. And the epilogue was cut down massively, that he kept close-knit with just a few people within his inner circle. And he decided on tweaking them because he knew that the series needed the perfect conclusion and also a potential setup for the future. And our final story in the rundown, Ewan McGregor keeps getting asked about playing Obi-Wan, and I don't know why, and he has no knowledge about a project of this nature. So just keep asking him, because he'll keep giving the same answer. And that is it for the rundown. For all of your articles on all of our news every week, go to StarWarsNewsNet.com. That is the end of the Scoundrels Rundown. We're actually going to hop over to Resistance Transmissions. So, Chewie, get us out of here.
Yeah, so we're going to switch it up this week. We're going to do Resistance Transmissions today, because we talked about this today, so we wanted to keep the conversation going. So we tweeted out, is the broken Kyber crystal from Anakin, Luke, Rey's saber important? Or should Rey move on and build her own from scratch with a new crystal like Luke did in Return of the Jedi? What are your thoughts on all of this? The first answer was from Melanie at Melanie Marquita, and she said, new lightsaber, but she wears the Kyber as a pendant like Jyn. And that would be Jyn Erso from Rogue One.
That was my favorite answer. I thought it was perfect, and I could totally see it happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense that we keep the history, but we still step forward in a bigger way.
Yeah, so the next one is from James O'Tron at JamesMarsh83, and he said, new crystal, new lightsaber made from her staff. That's what's up, James O'Tron. That or Luke tells her where his green lightsaber is. I think that lightsaber is gone, guys. That's my opinion. I think it's one of those things that we're just it's out there in the world. What do you guys think?
I had a conversation with my friend, and he brought this up at one point, like, I don't know, maybe she'll go back and she'll either use that lightsaber, or maybe she'll use the Kyber from that lightsaber. And I said, I really just think Star Wars moves forward. They don't go back. They don't go back to planets that they've been before very often. They're almost always introducing new species, new planets, new ideas. And to go back would be, I don't know, like I could understand it being traditional and a way to connect things. But at the same time, I think Star Wars is always looking forward. So...
Also, if Luke isn't busting that thing out at all in The Last Jedi, and it shows up in 9, people are going to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the fact that he's in 9.
But he's not going to be the one using it.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, our next one is from Mamba Miller at Mamba_Miller. They said, double-bladed seems obvious given her weapon of choice, parentheses staff, or she keeps half and gives half to a redeemed Ben Solo. Ooh! Mamba's on my side. That's right. That's what's up.
Yeah, Lacey, that's weird, though. Right? That's like them sharing, like, engagement rings.
Look, I think that whether you're good or bad, you can use whatever color saber you want. So he can use his red one even if he's a good guy. But I just like the fact that this person has redeemed Ben Solo in his sentence.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah. Rey just like at the end of the movie, she's like, remember when we fought and this thing split? I just want you to know that here's your half.
Yeah, I know. It just seems
it's like one of those friendship necklaces that say best friends, best on one side, friends on the other.
Yeah, exactly. Like, got you this. I knew you'd like it because it was your grandfather's.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I thought it was a great answer, Mamba.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
Next one is Alderanian Rose. Ooh, at Alderanian R, and they said double-bladed yellow, baby. That Bastilla
yeah,
Shan
baby.
Saber staff. That was a good answer.
What does it have to be connected? What if she just goes full like Ahsoka with this, like Asajj Ventress? Is that a female thing? How many people use two lightsabers that aren't female? I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but if she just has two lightsabers, that would be pretty sweet too.
Why yellow? I don't like yellow. I mean, I know people out there voted yellow. But...
I think the idea of yellow is Rey is very positive and sunny, and she comes from Jakku, and she's all positive.
But Lacey, also yellow is also known as cowardice. Like you're yellow. Like that's I don't know.
I wouldn't like yellow, but Alderanian Rose wants yellow, and I'm explaining
I hear you.
why.
Okay.
Those people. I also think again it comes from Bastilla, and that's
all right. Right on. That's a good answer.
She has yellow, so people see that image of her and just go, "Oh yes, makes sense. Looks like Rey, saber staff."
I just feel bad for all the temple guards because they're like they build their lightsaber and they like turn it on and it's yellow and they're like expecting blue or green or purple or something and it's yellow and they're like, "Dang it! I just pulled temple duty for the rest of my life." I don't know if that's exactly how it works, but
yeah, it's like
when you said temple guards, I thought of Legends of the Hidden Temple, and you were like,
sure.
I feel bad for the temple guards, and I was like, I don't. Those things pop out when you're not looking, and they scare the crap out of you.
Yeah, that's freaky.
That's what I thought in my head.
Yeah.
Last but not least is Scotty J-Ro at the Scott J-Ro, my boy Scotty.
Scott.
He gave quite an answer. He said, Rey should build her own lightsaber with the one half of the Kyber crystal, and the other Kyber crystal should be used for something different. The other half could be shoved into Kylo's eye, used to power some stupid droid, or given to the collector to join the MCU and Star Wars universes. First of all, I'm offended that you want to cause violence to Kylo, but I actually like the collector idea.
Well, I was going to say it seems more obvious that he would give it over to Thanos and he would put it as one of the of the stones in the Infinity Gauntlet. But
if he shoves it in Kylo's eye, then he can go by Kyber Ren instead of Kylo Ren.
God.
Two different reactions to that. It's like, ooh.
Anytime I make any kind of play on words, Lacey groans begrudgingly that she has to talk to me for 2 hours.
Yes, but it's all in good fun, and I want everyone listening to know that it's all in good fun. What we do here is for fun. We joke around. We have fun. We say things for fun. Just fun memo.
I may even buy Lacey a beer. We'll see.
Everybody always gets on me about dad jokes, and I'm like, but why does it make you physically ill? You always go, oh, and you grab your stomach, stop, ah.
So at my
every time I make a joke, you guys groan like you drank 3 gallons of lemonade.
So, John, you do a lot of dad jokes, which I love.
Yes.
And one of my favorite dad jokes, not from you, but recently that someone did, was I was with my boss at San Diego, and we were walking around, and every time he saw a line for an exclusive or some type of photo op or a guest or whatever, he would go to the people in the line and go, "Is this the line for the hot dogs?" And he did it to every single line. And at one point, he said it to one guy, and the guy got out of line. And he was like, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, every line. But you have to imagine at San Diego, there's a line every 5 feet. So by the time we got to the other end of the convention center, I was like, please stop. Please. I'll do anything.
And then he got to the actual hot dog line.
Yes.
And said, is this where the exclusives are?
And they were like, dang, I wanted a hot dog.
He didn't know it was the hot dog line, and he makes the joke, and they're like, yes. And then he looks like an idiot because he has to leave.
Yeah, he's just like, oh.
He's like, is this the line for the hot dogs? Yes. Oh, okay. And then walks
Shout out
away.
to Ron. Ron knows what's up. Okay, so that's what we have for this week for Resistance Transmissions. Thank you guys for tweeting to us. This was a really crazy conversation. I joined, I started reading early on and came back like an hour later, and it escalated. Like, that like Ron Burgundy gif of him being like, whoa, that escalated quickly. Like that was this thread, and it was really crazy, but it was awesome. So thank you for doing that. Yeah. If you want to be on the show, make sure to keep an eye out for hashtag Resistance Transmissions, whatever the question is that John comes up with. It's usually something crazy like, if Rey was to eat pizza, what would be her topping? But yeah, back to you, John.
Dang it, now I need to figure that out.
It would be a hydrated muffin.
It would be pineapple.
Oh,
you think
we're
Rey's
not friends
a pineapple
anymore.
chick?
I'm a pineapple chick.
On pizza? You like Hawaiian pizza?
It's my favorite.
I love Hawaiian pizza too.
That's disgusting. When we go to Chicago, we're not getting Hawaiian pizza.
Well, I don't think they really make it in Chicago. That's all deep dish.
I was gonna say if we were going somewhere like Gino's or Giordano's or something, even Uno's, I wouldn't get it there. I get it like at Pizza Hut or Papa John's or something, but
well, either way, Scotty's buying us pizza, so
it's up to him.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for those, as Lacey said, and make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN, so you can fire off those Resistance Transmissions. Be sure to head to our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com, for all of your latest news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. And head to our store, tpublic.com/user/Resistance Broadcast. They had a sale going last week. I'm not sure how long that went for, but we have 30 or so different designs on there that you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, hoodies, pillows, tapestries, all different sorts of things. And yes, there is a ton of solo stuff on there that James kind of designed up for us. So get those in time for your home video buying copy of Solo. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and writing and editing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James Bainey, how about you?
You can find me ordering extra pineapple on my pizza. I usually just call in and I say, can you replace, I want a pineapple, like I want a Hawaiian pizza, but can you replace the ham with more pineapple, please? But they never did. I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to hit me up and talk about something. I try to go deep with the stuff, so you can hashtag Ask the James.
Yeah, do that. Or don't.
Yeah, do that or don't.
Lacey, how about you?
People can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gillerin with a friendly reminder that Star Wars is for fun, and I'm doing this for fun, and everyone's having a great time. Have a wonderful day.
Lacey, did you mention that it's for fun, though?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that this is for fun.
Right on. And speaking of fun, we are going to have a pretty fun discussion set up for you on Thursday, and we're going to talk about, did Luke Skywalker inadvertently cause the awakening of the Force in Rey? So enjoy your weeks and check back in with us on Thursday morning for that discussion and more, right here on the Resistance Broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.